They say patience builds empires. But for one young man, impatience cost him a kingdom. Imagine this: a bustling train station, the hiss of steam, the clatter of footsteps on the platform. And right in the middle of it all, a young man, kneeling on the ground, polishing shoes. Every day was the same. The smell of polish, the rhythmic flick of his brush against worn leather, and the constant deafening roar of trains arriving and departing. But in his mind, he wasn't there. He was somewhere far away, in a world of luxury, a world where he would never have to touch another dirty boot again. He dreamed of being rich, of escaping the grime and the noise forever. One morning something shifted. A spark of desperation, or maybe just pure hope, ignited within him. He took the meager savings he had painstakingly collected, coin by coin, and walked over to a small kiosk. He did something he had never done before. He bought a lottery ticket. Just one. But that one ticket became his entire world. He held it as if it were made of spun gold. He stared at the numbers until they were burned into his memory. The hours leading up to the draw felt like an eternity. He'd check his cheap, cracked watch every few minutes, his heart thumping a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He couldn't risk losing it, so he found the perfect hiding spot. Inside his old, beaten-up shoe polish box. That box was his livelihood, his only real possession, the one thing he carried with him everywhere. It was his treasure chest, and now it held the key to his future. The days crawled by, each one heavier with anticipation than the last. Then, the day arrived. The winning numbers were announced on a crackling radio nearby. He pulled out a crumpled newspaper clipping with his own numbers written on it. He checked them once, twice, 3 times. A wave of disbelief washed over him, followed by an explosion of pure, unadulterated joy. They matched, every single one. He had won the jackpot. His mind reeled. The world around him faded into a blur. He was rich. He was free. In a state of sheer euphoria, he scrambled to his feet. He grabbed his worn-out bag, his brushes, his rags. His heart was a drum solo in his chest. As he leaped onto the departing train, a wild, triumphant laugh escaped his lips. "I'm rich. I'll never need this old box again," he shouted to the wind. In that single, glorious moment of excitement, he took his shoe polish box, the symbol of his old life, and hurled it out of the moving train's window. He watched it tumble and disappear into the fields, feeling a sense of release, of shedding his past like an old skin. A few moments later, the adrenaline began to subside. He leaned back against the seat, a wide grin plastered on his face. Now, for the best part. He reached into his pocket to pull out the ticket, to look at it, to admire the piece of paper that had changed his life. But his pocket was empty. A flicker of confusion crossed his face. He checked his other pocket. Nothing. His jacket? Still nothing. And then a cold, sickening dread began to creep up his spine. The box. The ticket was in the box. The box he had just thrown away. The box he had called useless. His triumphant laughter died in his throat, replaced by a strangled gasp. His hands began to tremble, not with excitement, but with horror. He stared out the window at the landscape rushing by, the landscape that had just swallowed his entire future. The dream he had chased so desperately, the fortune that was finally his, had vanished with the wind, tossed away in a moment of thoughtless arrogance. It was all gone, locked away inside that little wooden box he had so carelessly discarded. Isn't it a heartbreaking story? It makes you think. How often do we, in our rush to get to the next big thing, forget about the very things that got us started? The old car that got you to your first job interview, the friend who supported you when you had nothing, the skills you learned in a job you couldn't wait to leave. We see them as old, worn-out boxes, symbols of a past we want to escape. But what if they hold something precious? What if they hold the key to everything we've ever dreamed of? This story isn't just about a lottery ticket. It's a powerful reminder about humility and gratitude. Success doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's built on a foundation of small beginnings, of struggles, of the shoe polish boxes in our own lives. These things aren't just relics of the past. They are the roots that ground us. When we discard them, we risk cutting ourselves off from the very source of our strength. We risk throwing away the lessons, the character, and the humility that we earned along the way. Think about your own journey. What are the shoe polish boxes you're still carrying? Maybe it's a piece of advice from a mentor, a skill you think is outdated, or a relationship you've started to neglect. Before you decide it's useless and toss it aside in your excitement for the future, take a moment. Look inside. You might be surprised at the treasures you find. Because true wealth isn't just about the destination. It's about honoring the entire journey that got you there. Never, ever throw away what helped you rise. Sometimes the things we take for granted are the most valuable things we will ever possess. Thank you so much for watching and for spending this time with me. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that makes you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and value your journey.